Hey everyone, we have a new video today for National Adoption Awareness Month, and I'm filming this because I took off episode 1 of my adoption story. So if you watched that, you knew, at least I assume that you know, that I filmed that when I was super triggered. And while I think it's important for people that are not adopted to understand what it's like to be triggered as an adopted person, I just don't really feel very safe and comfortable having that video up anymore. It's been viewed truly hundreds of thousands of times, and it's received mostly positive feedback, and people are thanking me for sharing my story. But when the numbers really get up there, I recognize just how many people it's reaching, and I just feel really vulnerable. So I wanted to take today to kind of refilm my story and sort of an introduction. I did a written blog post about this that is titled Becoming AdopteeLilly. That's really what I wanted to talk about today, why I'm advocating, why I'm putting myself out there, why I make these videos, why I write, why I post on Instagram. Okay, so my adoption story, and I'm only going to share what I'm comfortable sharing with you because it's my story. I was adopted at 6 months old. So before that, I was born in Nanning, Guangxi, China in October of 1994. According to my paperwork, I was about 3 days old when I was found on the steps of a police station. And then from the police station, I went to the Nanning Social Welfare Institute, and then from there a private orphanage called Mother's Love picked me, nursed me back to health, matched me with a foster family. I lived with a foster family, and then I was adopted. I am aware that the information that I was given could be falsified. I'm aware that there was a lot of corruption and trafficking involved in Chinese adoption. So that's the first thing. I'm lucky in that for several points of my story, I have been able to find and reconnect with the people that cared for me in China, and they have been able to validate my story. So I think that's already some unique perspective that I'm bringing to my unique story, but having that validation really helps me. In 2015, the one-child policy was ended, and I penned an essay. I was sitting in my organic chemistry class, not paying attention. It's fine, I got an A, but I saw the news announcement and my mind was blown because this policy had really defined my life. It took a family away from me and it gave me a family, and that's something that I'm always going to tell people. I'm always going to have these conflicting emotions about it. So 2015, penned an essay. In 2017, I started graduate school. And if you've been to graduate school or you're thinking about going to grad school, you know that it's really hard, it's really stressful, and your anxiety is like through the roof. So I had just started grad school. I was in this brand new city by myself, and I was like, I really need connection. I don't know what to do. You know, I'm working 24/7 and I'm really stressed out. Why don't I try finding the Chinese adoption community here? I didn't know where to start, so I started on Facebook. And Facebook is a really special place. But it was the second anniversary of when the policy was announced as being ended. It was also the week of my 23rd birthday, which means it was also the week of the 23rd anniversary of when I was abandoned and found and brought to an orphanage. So that's a lot for 1 week. And I thought, hey, you know what? To introduce myself to the community, I will share the essay that I penned about the one-child policy because it's, I think, a good introduction. It shows that I can be thankful for an adoptive family. I can grapple with these complex feelings about trauma and loss that I deal with my biological family. And this policy really shaped Chinese adoption, so why not use that? I gave a little introduction before I just posted the essay because, you know, don't you just hate when people post links to stuff and like there's no context? So I said, you know, this is the second anniversary of this. I'm also turning 23 and I was also abandoned 23 years ago, so blah. I posted this in a group of over 7,000 people, which is pretty freaking scary. Overwhelmingly, the response was really positive. People were able to recognize that I can have very conflicting emotions about this and that it's going to be very complex, and my experience as an adoptee is very important. But a very select few parents wanted to use this opportunity to prove their wokeness. And that's when I really got triggered, because anytime, no matter how much information you know about your story, no matter how much you know about corruption and falsifying documents and adoption, if someone looks at you and says everything you know about your story is a lie, that's going to be triggering. It's taking everything you know about yourself, it's taking your identity and saying, no, throw it out. Nothing you know is real. You got to start from square one. And I was just really, really triggered, which is why I posted that video. And I couldn't imagine how parents who are supposed to be supportive and woke and educated would be able to comment that type of thing in a group that is so large and make these comments when the entire point of the post had nothing to do with me validating my story and proving things to anybody. I thought it was ridiculous that that's what I was spending my energy doing with these people, because my job isn't to make parents feel good about how educated they are. I was there sharing my experiences as an adult adoptee, and then the conversation got derailed. So that's how the advocacy started, because after that experience, I really looked into the adoption community. I scrolled around, I joined various different groups, and there was just this very common trend that whenever an adoptee has the floor, the conversation gets derailed. Either there's a lot of pushback because nobody wants to hear what we have to say, or we have the parents who want to prove how woke they are. Let me teach you. Let me use you as a teaching experience. And I honestly just felt really objectified and unappreciated and not valued, because, yeah, like I said, my job isn't to help parents prove that they're woke. I was there just saying, hey, I'm Lily, I'm an adult adoptee, I'm one of the oldest Chinese adoptees here, I'm looking for a community, this is an essay I penned, I thought it was appropriate to share because of these reasons. That's how I started this whole AdopteeLilly thing. And since then, I've just been posting episodes about things I experience in life, because I will always be an adopted person and I will always be an Asian woman. So everything I experience is as those two identities. And there are many of us out there, but many of us think that we're alone in our experiences because no one's speaking up. So that's why I'm here. I'm not saying everyone experiences this and you need to do this, this, and this. I'm saying, hey, I experienced this, and after talking to other adult adoptees, I realized that this is becoming a common trend, and a lot of us have shared experiences that we never spoke about because we're ashamed to, or we feel guilty, or we're scared. But maybe the community needs to talk about these things, or maybe I am the only one experiencing these things, but it's bound to happen again. So be prepared if it happens to your family. That's where I'm at. Like I said, removed episode 1 because I was just super, super triggered, and now I realize how much attention that video is getting, and I'm like, I honestly don't feel safe having this out there anymore. I had to remove a few other videos, including the one with my sister, because people like to comment racist things. I'll say I'm not as bothered when they say it about me, but like if you say that about my sister, you're done, get out. So I removed that video, but I'm hoping to get her back on the channel sometime soon so we can have a good chat. That's where I'm at. Chinese adoptee, 25 years old, PhD candidate, advocate for human rights and adoptee rights. And overall message to the advocacy: if an adoptee has the floor, if they're being vulnerable and sharing their experiences, you sit back and you listen. You don't try to derail a conversation to prove anything to anybody. This isn't about you. This is about them. Let them have the space. Let them have the safety, because it does take a lot to share. And it takes a lot to share these tough things in a room where no one wants to hear it. So that's that. And if you hear some super weird noises in the background, my dog Grant is playing with his Kong toys, if you know what they are. They're like the really hard rubber things. So yeah. But yes, thank you so much for following along. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for helping me advocate. Thank you for giving me the space and safety to say the things that I say. And I will see you next time.